Hi guys, how are you? I'm here to do the air sign tarotscopes for March for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Thank you guys for waiting. I'm sorry I got sort of sidetracked today. I had to run to the doctors and stuff. So now that I've got that taken care of and I'm back home, I can get into doing your tarotscopes for the month of March. So just for those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are coming back or returning, thank you so much for coming back and watching. I really appreciate that. Thank you to all my Patreon subscribers that subscribe to my page over on Patreon. I appreciate each and every one of you. And one moment, I am sharing this out to groups really quick before I get started so that other people can see this. I just want to let you guys know that I don't have a chat box up, so I can't see if you're commenting on this video. If you want me to sort of see your comments, please, oh wait, that was the wrong, I shared it to the wrong place. Okay, let's do this right, Dan. Please share at my business page or comment at the business page or on the YouTube video. And I will definitely see those quicker than I will see the ones in the different groups that I'm sharing in. If you guys like my videos, please share them out. I would greatly appreciate it because it helps me to get the word out and it helps me to book readings, paid readings. I am available for paid readings too. Just if you want information on that, you can feel free to message me at my business page and I can give you that info. Beyond that, let's get started for my air signs, my wonderful air signs. We're going to start with Gemini. So, I know a couple of Geminis. One of them should be having a baby sometime soon. I'm just kidding. That's a joke between me and a friend in Ohio. But let's see what's going on for Gemini. Sun, Moon, and Rising are those with heavily placed Gemini planets. What is the energy for March 2020 for the Geminis? I should also mention while I'm shuffling cards, there is a collaboration that I'm doing on YouTube that will be coming up soon on the beginning of March. So I will give you guys more information on that on the daily forecast. So keep an eye out for that too. Oh wow, okay. That's interesting. Alright, so the first card is the sort of what I call the U card. It sort of tells me sort of where the Geminis are going to be operating from most of the month, right? Throughout the month. It's not the entirety of the month, but it gives us a sense of whether or not this is going to be, you know, where your vibration is at. Is it going to be a good month? Is it going to be a bad month? And it not only tells us sort of where you're vibrating at, but also what you could potentially be creating for the future. So that's why I look at it, or that's the way that I look at this card. So let's see what it is. We have the Seven of Cups. Okay. So Seven of Cups is about definitely the element of water and the emotions. There's a lot of options on Gemini's plate. That's kind of how I see the Seven of Cups. It's sort of like, okay, which one do we pick and choose? Do we pick the thing that's good? Or do we pick the thing that's bad, right? Or what feels good and focus on that? Or what feels, you know, what do... let me get my thoughts clear here, one moment. To me, this card represents, as I'm looking at this, is Gemini going to focus on what's broken or what's working? Is kind of the gist of this card, right? It sort of feels to me like there's all of these different opportunities available to you, but it's really what you choose to fixate on or what you choose to sort of let be your guiding emotion is going to dictate how your month plays out. And because this is the Seven of Cups in this position, it says to me that my Geminis are going to have a wide range of experiences. This reading may work for some of you and not for everybody else. Does that make sense? So as we go through, we'll see what's going on and the cards will start to connect more. But to me, this feels like there's a lot of opportunity for both successes, like emotional successes, and also the opportunities or the possibilities of like maybe feeling, you know, some negative emotions, some anxiety, some annoyance or you know, being focused on those sort of things and choosing to focus on those emotions, and that would set up sort of more of those experiences. Whatever it is, there's an abundance in the Seven of Cups to me that feels like, you know, the big buffet, and which thing are we going to take, and are we going to sort of overindulge or not, right? And we get to choose. That's the cool thing about this card for the Geminis, is I feel like you guys get to choose sort of which feeling you want to feel, which feeling you want to be your dominant feeling, basically. And from that, you're going to be able to sort of create through the month of March. What I noticed, this showed up, I want to say, in the soul space of Capricorn, this card. And what I noticed in reading with this, in the Capricorn reading, is this man is holding a mirror. I'll bring it up closer. To me, what this says to me about the Geminis is kind of like, we are going to be putting out, whatever we're putting out will kind of get mirrored back to us. So be mindful of that when we're like getting into slumps or feeling down. Like if we get into a downward spiral, we want to be careful that we're not sort of slipping into it and then focusing solely on those things, and then more of those things continue to create, because we're like sort of mirroring that out or sending that vibration out, and then we're getting affirmations on that, right? Where, whoops, I'm turning that down, not up. We're getting affirmations on that through the experience of our outside environment, right? And really what's happening here is we're kind of in control of it and we're unaware of it, is what I sort of feel like here. We're unaware that our emotional set point is sort of creating it for us, right? So keep that in mind as you move through the month of March. Now, we are also, remember too, because of this sort of emotionality of this card, we are in a retrograde. So if you are feeling funky, it's okay. I don't want you to beat yourself up. A lot of us are feeling funky or going in and out of funk. I certainly am constantly, like, on the hour. But be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself, nourish yourself. There's also a nourishment factor to the Seven of Cups. You know, all of these sort of delicious delicacies up here. Some are delicious and some are not, right? But we get to choose what we want to take from the buffet and how much of it we want to take. And then we have to be mindful that we're also putting that out. What? That's so gross. But what I'm thinking is, as we take it in from the buffet, we have to put it out. So be mindful of that. All right. So the next card is your foundation card. I use the terminology foundation because I think of it, this card is sort of like, when you build a house, you lay a foundation first, right? And so the foundation is kind of the card from the past that sort of opened the door for everything to be the way that it is for the month of March. It's also the memory of this card that kind of holds everything in place. So keep that in mind as we look at this card. So this is interesting, the Five of Cups. So where did we lose something emotionally in the past? To me, the Five of Cups is always about sort of not acknowledging, only acknowledging what we've lost and not acknowledging what we have, right? It's depicted here. Oh, somebody's calling. I can't answer right now. I am busy. I'm gonna decline that. Sorry. So this Five of Cups is what we have going on here is we have two cups here that are perfectly in good condition above her, but she's so focused on the three broken cups down below that she's not seeing that what she sort of does have, right, in her emotional wheelhouse. And I feel like that's some of the Seven of Cups, is we've got that sort of activity going on where we're a little bit missing. In the past, there's been some mishaps where we missed the point, I want to say, like maybe something befell us. Jesus Christ, who am I, Shakespeare? Maybe something, we experienced something that we felt a loss of some sort, be it a relationship, job, whatever it is, whatever this moment was in the past. All we could focus on was the negative aspect of that we missed the sort of maybe the growth. You know, sometimes hindsight is 20/20. If we look back on those things, we have to sort of go through those experiences so that we can get to the point where we are presently. And I feel like this Seven of Cups is sort of a repeat. Like, to me, the vibe that I'm getting from this card is it's like, okay, we're back up for this lesson again, Geminis. Are we going to get it right? Maybe during this retrograde. Are we going to focus on what's not working? Or are we going to focus on maybe what does feel right, because we have all of this cups energy happening here. You guys are air, right? The intellect. And so to me, it's sort of, it's not your complementary, like air and fire go together and then water and earth go together. So to me, this is sort of like this is your challenge a little bit, is to have so much emotions happening or running through you during the month of March. But that's also because we're in this Pisces retrograde, right? Which Pisces is an extremely emotional sign. So it would make sense that you guys, being the thinkers that you are, plus you also are the mutable air sign like Pisces, right? The fish, you're also the only other duality in the zodiac. We have Pisces, which is the two fish swimming in different directions, and then we have Gemini, which is the twins, right? So keep that in mind as you go through the early part of March in Pisces season with a Pisces retrograde, and with a Pisces Mercury retrograde. It's going to be a little bit like emotional for you guys, and that's okay. What you need to keep in mind here is that there's opportunity here to sort of relearn a lesson that we didn't catch in the past. I feel like this is sort of karmic to me in a way, not like our own karma, not karma with somebody else, but somewhere in the past we missed the opportunity to see what we had versus what we lost. And we allowed that to maybe temper our existence, and it brought us to this point where we're facing it yet again in this retrograde, going like, I just have this feeling or this sense, like, I feel like I want to say, okay, so what are we gonna choose to focus on? Are we gonna repeat this again, or are we gonna try and look for the better, brighter feeling and focus on that and create that for ourselves amidst the resistance of whatever emotionally it might be going on during this retrograde? Because it is a retrograde and it is Pisces, so it's going to be emotional for everybody. We should expect that and embrace it, and then do the best that we can to sort of choose the better feeling emotion. That's going to be key for you guys, I think, because that's going to dictate what sort of a month you experience. So the next card is your spirit or soul card. This is above you. It tells me what your spirit or soul is working on, what it wants to be dealing with or you to be addressing. Interesting. You guys have the Devil card. So it's not that your souls are devils, Gemini, although you guys can be a little ornery at times, and you are deep, great thinkers, and can be maybe a little diabolical. That's just because you're so highly intelligent. There's nothing wrong with that. But this Devil card to me says that generally as a rule, Devil represents sort of slothiness, drug addiction, anywhere where there's some sort of dark secret that we haven't addressed or taken care of. The Devil's gonna sort of push it on us, or hope that we bite and partake. And sort of take up our time or our energy with it, right? It's sort of like a hurdle that we get stuck in, right? That's kind of how I see the Devil. It's not like this big nasty thing, but it can be. But to me, this is significant. It being in the soul position, our soul wants us to address some of the things that are holding us back, the bigger things. If there are sort of addictions or crutches that we rely upon, that we've known, because we are these, you guys are this intelligent minded sign, right? You guys know where your sort of weak points are. You've already thought it 8 times over. You've picked yourself apart and everybody else in the room, and so you know what's going on. You know where your stuff is. The Devil is kind of this big, powerful card in your soul space saying, bitch, I'm here. You've been avoiding me this whole time. And your soul is kind of throwing it up, saying, okay, now it's time. And I don't mean throwing up like barfing. I mean putting it up in your space in the month of March during the retrograde, because it's time to address it. It's time to get I gotta show you this card, because this card is ridiculous to me. It's this dancing black cat, this monkey riding on the back of a dancing black cat, which I think is fabulous in some ways. But to me, it's this cat feels real hijinksy, annoying as fuck. And so when I look at this card, this being in your soul space, it's sort of like, Gemini, you can no longer deny whatever it is that you've been trying to avoid at the deeper sort of level, right? Wherever your weak point is, whatever you've been hiding, whatever you've been kind of not wanting to address or change, it feels like it is up for change in the month of March. And part of this Seven of Cups is, how do we feel about that? How are we gonna, are we gonna put ourselves through the emotional ringer as we face off with the devil, right? This is going to be significant. And with the devil up here in the soul space, and we have this Five of Cups, and I was telling you that this sort of felt karmic. That's why the devil's sitting up here in the soul space, is because your soul is bringing you some big fucking lessons to address in March. There's something that you guys have been sweeping under the rug, or not looking at, or thinking, oh, if I just, it'll go away at some point, is the feeling that I'm getting. It's not. It's here. It's kind of like gonna be, actually the card for this morning was niggling you. It's going to be niggling you. More than niggling, this cat is dancing its ass around, attracting you, and it could have the capacity to really piss you off and annoy you through the month of March, which could lead to a repeat of this Five of Cups, where we're only focused on the negative and what is going wrong versus what is going right. We don't want to do that again. We want to be free of this, and we want to acknowledge opportunities where we can free ourselves emotionally from it, from the attachments to it, okay? And I think that some of that, what I'm getting right now, or what I hear right now, is that it has to do with like the sort of mental connection that you guys have, and then the emotional. There's something about you're going to have to feel it and go through it emotionally, so that you can sort of stop judging yourself, or let yourself off the hook mentally, if that makes any sense at all. For some of you, I don't know. You'll have to leave me comments and let me know. The next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These cards sort of they're not of you, they are around you in the month of March. They can be people, events, sometimes things more vague, like energies or belief systems that are having an effect on you in the month of March. So the first one, we just need to be aware of them, is the Chariot. Okay. So the Chariot is major arcana, so that's sort of a definitely like significant energy, or whatever this is. Let me just look at this for one moment. There's definitely new opportunities here. When I look at this Chariot card, the Chariot was always associated, I think, with the sign of Cancer, I want to say. And fast movement, like big time, sometimes out of control. It can feel a little bit out of control. It can be celebratory. It usually is a positive card. It can mean like when we set goals, we can move towards them quickly. When I look at this card, to me this feels like we have an opportunity here. What I feel like this card is saying to me is that we have an opportunity here for the Geminis, that if we choose our, like, the sort of the best right feeling, even if it's not such a great feeling on any given day, but if we just try and reach for the highest, best feeling, that's going to sort of open up the doors for us to have forward movement and make strides, and powerful strides at that, like changes that are going to have an impact that will be celebrated, like down the line, like maybe in the months to come. But we need to be aware of that. This energy is sort of knocking at the door, and I feel like this guy in the Chariot is saying, hey bitch, come on, get in. And then you go off. But there's a commitment here emotionally that needs to take place. You need to commit to the better feeling emotions. You need to be willing to address your devil issues and let these things go, right? So keep that in mind as you're moving through the month of March. It does feel like this is going to be significant, and I feel like, yeah, this Chariot will be as fast as you allow it to be. Does that make sense? So depending on what you're choosing to focus on, how you're choosing to feel, what you're sort of feeding. Are you feeding fear and anger, annoyance, those sort of things? That's going to slow this Chariot down. Are you feeding like joy, happiness, trying to find abundance where you might think there is none? Then that's going to speed this Chariot up and lead you to those opportunities. And it's got it, like the Chariot being major arcana, there's a significance to this. There's a fast, swift moving energy. I don't want to create any fear for my Geminis, but I do feel like this, I'm getting this sense like if we don't take the ride, like I'm seeing this idea like the bus is coming by, and if we miss the bus, then it's going to be a little while before it comes back around again. I'm not saying that you'll miss it completely, but if you decide like to stay stuck or focus only on the negative in the month of March, you might, like, this chariot might just go without you. It's like, because it's heading by, and he's saying like, get in, is what I feel like. So my feeling is if, and it's not, I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want anybody to think like, oh my God, I got to get this right. It's not about that. What I'm saying is that there's an opportunity here with this chariot card that is coming about in March, that if you jump in and go, you can move rather swiftly and get there. If you choose not to and maybe go a different route, you will get there regardless, but it may take some time for another opportunity to swing back by to get you. Does that make sense, Gemini? I hope it does, because that's what I'm feeling as I'm looking at this card. It's sort of what I'm hearing too. Now, the other outside influence that we have is the Knave of Chalices. So this is, again, we've got that watery energy. So knaves are always that youthful, enthusiastic, sort of willing to learn energy, right? That opportunity to learn. Again, we have the element of water and the emotions. So I'm going to say with this Pisces, I don't want to harp on this Pisces retrograde, but with this Pisces retrograde going on during the beginning of March, it feels like, especially with all the foundation being this Five of Cups, right? This is the sort of driving force, or the foundation that everything's built upon, is dealing with our emotions, finally addressing them, finally addressing how we feel and how we see ourselves, right? Allowing ourselves off the hook emotionally so that we can sort of free ourselves and our opinions about ourselves mentally, right? And maybe address some of the deeper stuff that we've been avoiding. If we do that, there's opportunities here to learn. That's what this knave is to me, is he's about like the learning, the opportunities that come from outside of us that allow us to learn about our own emotions. Now, this could be sideways situations, right? This knave could come at us in ways that we don't necessarily enjoy or like. The key is which emotion do we choose from the buffet as we experience the goofiness of this knave, right? Does that make sense, guys? So, like, if we find, like, say it's a situation at work or with our partner where it's driving us nuts, do we focus on the fact that we're being driven nuts, or do we stop and go, okay, wait a second, I need to take a breath, and I need to focus on that, you know, maybe this knave just doesn't understand, or this person doesn't understand, maybe they're having a bad day too. Giving them that grace, that sort of puts you into the chariot and moves you forward towards a better goal, and also helps you to address sort of the devil issues that, you know, those sort of things that hold you back. We don't want to be held back anymore, right? That's sort of the foundation, this idea of looking at what we have, not what we've lost. It's like we get to choose what sort of experience. This is a choose your own adventure, kids. So this last card is, so this knave, let me just finish with this knave really quick. This knave also has opportunity within him. The castle behind him speaks to also this castle here, right? There's these two castles that I see. So it feels like you will get there. It's just a matter of how fast and how conscious are you about the getting there, right? How aware are you going to be during the month of March? How much are you going to actually actively choose your emotional state and live from that set point, right? As you do that, the knave is going to teach you things. It might be through frustration and annoyance, but don't let that be your set point, okay? This last card is the potential outcomes card. This sort of tells me where things might will go for the majority of you, but it's not set in stone. With, you know, with the different decisions and choices that we have. Sorry, I'm like just, I think I've been up since 4:45. I should remember that. With free will comes choice. And we have choices, we can make choices and changes. So if this card is negative, it's not set in stone. We can indeed use this card as a warning to make choices and changes to affect the outcome so that this card does not come to pass. But if this is a beneficial card or something that we want to have come to pass, we can take heart in the fact that it's naturally on its way to us and just allow for this to unfold by the month's end, okay? So I just always say that so that nobody's living by my predictions. I don't want anybody to think that you're stuck in whatever I'm predicting. So this is the outcome for somebody else too. Interesting. Was it? This was the outcome for Capricorn too, and they had this, but this was up in there. Very interesting. I wonder if some of my Geminis have heavily placed Capricorn or vice versa. You might want to check your charts, kiddos, because if you do, there's a double up happening, and that might be the strength of this Pisces retrograde. But again, I'm going to point this out the same way that I pointed it out in Capricorn's reading. This mirror that we have that we're putting out into the world is actually stronger and becomes like a sort of, for the majority of you, because maybe you've listened to this reading or you're actually consciously choosing the better right feeling, it's going to actually become a strength for you, and you're going to be able to slay the dragons of your mind, maybe the devils of your mind, that sort of idea, right? We're going to be stronger. This is the also major arcana, so it puts us in a very nice position of like strength, energy, power by the month's end, right? We're very aware of the work that we've done throughout the month of March. We're very aware of the struggle. With strength comes a little bit of sort of, there was maybe a war or a fight or a struggle throughout the month in the early part of the month, but we've learned to sort of take maybe what was working against us in the past and make it work for us, because we're being more conscious about what we're choosing to feel, right? We're not repeating the history of the past anymore, and we're actually addressing the things that sort of hold us back or that we have judgment around and letting them go. If there's like slothiness or overeating or sex addiction or whatever it might be, anxiety. And I'm not saying that anxiety is an actual treatable thing that we sometimes don't necessarily have control over. But if we're allowing it to ruin or run our life, this is the opportunity. Our soul wants us to sort of get in there and find like a way to not necessarily defeat it per se, but to tame it and to not allow it to sort of rule us like, say, the Devil card would. This Strength card says most of you will be successful with that. So take heart in that. There might be a few of you that, choose to stay stuck, but I get an overall good feeling from this, especially with that Strength card being as the outcome at the end of the month for my Geminis. It does feel like you guys will slay your inner demons, so to speak, be able to have a stronger mirror and a stronger awareness of who you are and what you want and what you deserve, and put that out there, right? And expect that back in return, okay? So that is your Gemini March 2020 Tarotscope. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in a private reading, please feel free to message me at the business page. Please give the video a like, a share, a comment, or a subscribe. And I am going to move on now to Libra. Okay, hello Libras. Thank you for tuning in and waiting and being patient. I do not have a chat box up, so I cannot see your comments. If you choose to comment, please do so at the business page or on the YouTube channel once the video is fully uploaded, and I will respond there if you have any questions about the reading. So this is for Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or people with heavily placed planets in Libra. This is going to give you guys a little idea of what your March may be like. You can also cross-watch this for Libra that you may care about. Okay. One more shuffle, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Alright, let's see what's going on for Libra. Alright, this first card is the U card. It just gives me sort of an idea of where you're going to be vibrating at most of the month, not the entire month, but most of the month. It also gives me insight into sort of what we can expect from the month of March for my Libras. It will also give us a little insight into what we could be potentially creating into the future, because you know, whatever we're doing in our present is what we're sort of like generating out into the future. So we have the Two of Cups. Beautiful card to lead out with. It's funny because my Geminis had a lot of Cups energy going on in their spread as in the reading that I just did for them, and you guys are leading also with Cups energy. I have to say, I feel like all of this water energy in the air signs might be due to this Pisces retrograde. I don't want to like keep selling this Pisces retrograde blah blah blah, but there is a lot of like watery emotion stuff happening in these two readings right out of the gate. So what I do want to say with the Two of Cups, to me this is about a union. Two of Cups is always about coming closer or coupling. Twos represent that to me. Cups is the element of water or that of the emotions. To me, this feels like where I feel like my Geminis might have been a little bit scattered and had a lot of options on board. The Libras here, you guys feel more grounded in your emotional selves. You guys feel like you're actually turning a corner in the month of March, where you're becoming more at peace with maybe how you're feeling. Maybe this could also be an actual literal coupling where you're becoming closer to somebody in your life. That this card could represent that sort of a union too, or that sort of like heartfelt love coming into play. But for those of you that might be single, this feels like just our emotions kind of working with us rather than against us during this retrograde. So that's good to, you know, be aware of. I kind of get this sense that there's a calmness and a peace about this card. So if I have any Libras out there that are losing their shit right now, let me know. But I would love to know if you guys are feeling like you're heading at least towards this peace. If you're not, by March, if you don't have it, message me and be like, you lying bitch. I love some good drama. I feel like this feels very settled to me. This feels like a connection to oneself, even like a sort of a connection to the soul at an emotional level. So good on you, Libras. Like if this is where your March is going to be at, keep it up. Like this is sort of your set point. To me, this is very peaceful, very intimate. Maybe with those that we love around us, but also intimate with ourselves. And feeling good. I feel like very good as I'm looking at this card. Like I feel very, I don't know if accomplished is the right word, but that's the word I want to use, right? It just sort of feels like the out breath, okay? So enjoy that feeling throughout the month of March. Hopefully that's what you're feeling and tapping into. It's definitely accessible and there for you if you don't feel as though you have it. Look at this forecast and remind yourself that, oh, I can always just connect to self and everything is going to be okay. This next card is the Foundation card. This tells me a little bit about sort of what happened in the past that opened the door for everything to be the way that it is for you in March with these cards. So this is also not only what everything is built upon, but it's also sort of the memory of this card that holds everything in place, the reminder of this. So this is the Ten of Wands. Wands is the element of fire. This is the complementary energy to your air sign, right? And what I like about this is definitely tends to represent completion. There is something that has come to a completion, and right out of the gate, I feel this out breath with this too, that this peace, like we finally sort of have turned the corner. We've done something very, very right, I feel like, and something that, let me just look at this for one moment. There's something here where I feel like we've excelled in some area of our life where we've done the right thing and we've really feel that sense of awareness that we can be sort of proud of ourselves at a deep spiritual level. Either we've released something that was no longer working for us, whatever it is, it's like we kind of leveled up, and that's what brings about this Two of Cups in our center in the month of March, because it allows us to sort of connect to ourselves in a much more sort of like heartfelt, deepened way, and appreciative way of ourselves, because of the reminder of like, oh yeah, I did do that and I did it well, and that's, you know, I maybe did the right thing. I listened to my, you know, my spirit, and I saw that through whatever that experience was for my different people watching. this, to me, this energy feels like a very nice, lovely foundation for you to move into this new sort of appreciation of self at an emotional level in the month of March. It also feels like, too, because this is a completion card, there is like a new opportunity awaiting, right? A new chapter to be written. That's the freshness of this Two of Cups. I feel like there's a beginning of a new chapter for some of you in March. That could be a new relationship, like I said, could be just new opportunities, but it's definitely beginning in March for some of you. Now, the next card is what I call the Spirit or Soul card. It's up above you. This lets me know what your spirit or soul is working on, what it wants in the month of March. So we have the High Priestess energy. So this was my, I have to say that this was the center card for Pisces. We are in Pisces season in the first part of March, and it is a Pisces retrograde. So somehow you Libras are linking up with that energy of Pisces, I feel like. That's why you guys are sort of at peace during this retrograde. That's what I'm feeling with these three cards, the 10, the 2, and the High Priestess. To me, this feels very nicely synchronistic. It does not feel, I don't feel any sort of edge or aversion. It just feels very smooth is the energy. So I hope that's what you guys experience in March. This High Priestess, to me, being in the soul space, speaks to the idea of intuition, trusting your own intuition, stability, the idea, there is a little bit of secrecy to the High Priestess, right? She doesn't necessarily reveal herself completely. This, to me, is being in the soul space. It feels like maybe we're getting to know ourselves a little bit better. That's also, again, like I said, reflected in this Two of Cups. The High Priestess is, showing her, I had to burp, showing herself in your soul space, like she's a deeper aspect of who you are intuitively, a deeper aspect of who you are subconsciously is coming forward in the month of March. It's due to this completion, this spiritual completion that happened, I don't know, in the past. And this could be, I get a feeling that this is fairly recent past, but there's something either that you've left behind, there's something that you've finished up, that you've completed, it's somewhere that you've handled it right, you're ready for your next phase, and as you're phasing in, a new aspect of your spirit is being shown to you. With this High Priestess, I love her energy because she's sort of spinning around, enjoying herself. We see these beautiful, strong pillars, both of light and dark. There's an acceptance here of all aspects of self at a very deep, secretive level, right? So, to me, this is like our soul saying, okay, Libra, this is going to be your set point, right? This is going to be where you're kind of operating from in the month of March, is like this communion and emotional communion maybe with yourself and others around you. So I am going to allow you to see all of the sort of beauty that is deep within your soul. The strength, the lightness, the dark, all of it. And there's this sort of acceptance of that I think is really beautiful. And I think that that's also aiding your ability to stay in this Two of Cups energy throughout the retrograde and into, the rest of March. And you deserve it because of this 10 of Wands. Whatever this experience was, you did it correctly, and you do deserve it. Now, the next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These are the cards that are influencing us. They're outside of us. They're not of us. They're kind of around us in our environment. They can be people or events. Sometimes they can be things more vague, like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us, right? So we just need to be aware of them. They can be positive or negative. It's, we'll just see what they are. So what is the King of Swords? I like that we have our first air element is this King of Swords. This could be another Libra, or this could be a Gemini, or this could be an Aquarius. But this is definitely more than likely a male figure. This is an opportunity for somebody to offer, I get like this sense of clear advice. But see, let me see. I'm looking at this and I feel like somebody's appreciating my Libras. Somebody that like my Libras would also appreciate. I'm not so sure that this might not be turning into a love reading. Only because that Two of Cups in the center, and I feel like this King of Swords to me feels like he is your equal. He is in your element, right? So he's, you know, it's possible that he's got a lot of air-placed planets, or he's got a very like high intellect. He's a quick decision maker. He's in charge. He's authoritative, but in a good way. He's, you know, decisive, and he's facing, like, his whole body is positioned towards this center, towards this Two of Cups. He's very interested. It's the way that I'm looking at this. I feel like he's sort of, his interest is definitely peaked. If he's not making himself known to my Libras that might be single and looking to mingle, he's in the periphery in March. Keep an eye out for him. For those of you, this could be a father figure or an authoritarian figure to you, like a boss or something that's appreciative of you, that maybe those of you that are in a relationship and aren't looking for love, I don't want you to think, oh my God, I have a stalker. This could be that kind of a thing. But to me, there's a definite like sort of appreciation and admiration coming from this figure towards this center. So there's this opportunity for maybe deepening a friendship, if it's not something that, say, is romantic, right? But I feel like he's definitely, for some of you, there is a romance link here, and it has to do with the fact that this High Priestess is going on up here. You're sort of accepting more aspects of yourself and becoming more in communion with yourself. Therefore, others around you are starting to see that and appreciate that and want to come and connect with that in the month of March during a retrograde. Get it, Libras. Y'all are doing something right, is my feeling. If any of you Libras meet somebody, I have to know. You better come back and tell me. Don't be holding out on me. All right, let's look at the other outside influence. Wow, okay. The other outside influence is the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups, to me, again, we have a completion, but we have an emotional completion, right? There's an opportunity here for an emotional completion to happen for my Libras. This also makes me think about this idea of this sort of relationship. Like, all right, I'm going to say this. This might be only for a few of you. But if there is a suitor that shows up, be ready to say goodbye to a lot. Oh, I'm like, my hand's right in the way. If there is a suitor that shows up in the month of March that starts to say, like, make his interest known, right? Be ready to say goodbye to some of the old emotional baggage that you may have carried through old relationships with you. Because this family is sort of waving goodbye, and this is usually like this celebratory abundance card, and it being emotions, but I'm focused more on the fact that this is a 10. And it's a completion. And you also have two 10s going on here. You're completing cycles right now, Libra. You've been in this period, and maybe it's because we're in 2020 and you're sort of wrapping things up for the next decade. But there is this feeling of there's these opportunities that are coming at you from outside that are allowing you to sort of come to completion and fruition with emotional stuff. And I think that when I look at this, it feels like this family waving goodbyes. It's like I almost feel like my Libras are waving goodbye to our old hang-ups around relationships, our old hang-ups around like fears, anxieties, insecurities, whatever we used to maybe lead with in our relationships or say our business dealings or friendships, whatever. We're letting go of those things. This High Priestess coming from this soul space, she's whispering sort of intuitions into our ear, or she's helping us to appreciate who we are and what we know, and we're trusting that. It's based in this firm 10 of Wands, right? Which is this spiritual fiery energy that kind of is our complementary energy. So as we move through, if somebody does appear, be ready to sort of let go of anything, emotional baggage that, you know, you may have led with in previous relationships. And that's what I'm feeling for some of you. Okay. Now, for others of you, this also just speaks to the idea that there is an emotional abundance out there that is ready to happen. So for those of you that maybe aren't being pursued by a suitor, maybe this is your boss who's appreciating you, this is going to create sort of like flows of emotional abundance, or this idea or opportunity like where you can kind of, to me, like I feel like this Two of Cups is triggering off this 10 of Cups. This self-appreciation and this deepening of the relationship to the self is bringing about also this opportunity for this flooding of abundance of emotional energy and appreciation at an emotional level to kind of come in and allow you to complete some stuff that you maybe have carried with you that's maybe been misperceived about yourself, or that you haven't been able to, say, fully connect to emotionally. to me, this Ten of Cups says we're going to let that go now, and we're going to appreciate ourselves much more deeply, and our environment's going to allow for that. So these are both very, very nice, nurturing cards, I feel like, for environmental influences. Now, this last card is what I call the Potential Outcomes card. And this card is, why I call it potential is because I don't want anybody to think that they're stuck in any prediction, but this is the sort of future card, right? So this card tells me a little bit about sort of where things are naturally progressing to, but we have free will. So we can make choices and changes. If this is a card that we don't want to have happen, or if it's negative, we can use this as a warning and make choices and changes to affect the outcome of this card. But if this is a good card that we want to see come to pass, we can just sort of take heart in the fact that it's on its way to us, right? So let's see. Beautiful. It's the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles, to me, is about sort of the acquisition of abundance through like the methodical work, right? And where I see the methodical work in all of this is by the month's end, you guys feel accomplished, you feel noble, you feel secure, you feel stable. There's definitely a steadiness. This earth energy is beautiful in the sense that there's a groundedness to who you are. And the reason why is because we have this completion here, and we have this emotional completion that's happening throughout the month, where this retrograde is allowing you guys to release some stuff. It's allowing you guys to lose hang-ups over, you know, wherever you have emotional hang-ups, I feel like you guys are coming to an end with them. And because of the completion here, and this completion that happened in the past, and this appreciation, this sort of appreciation even for our deepest, darkest secrets, Libra, we are able to arrive at this place of feeling noble, feeling in charge, feeling able to protect ourselves, feeling grounded, and also feeling like we're able to sort of manifest things at a material level at this point. We've sort of mastered this Wands energy. We've mastered this, we will be mastering this sort of Cups energy. You know, we're getting to a place of completion. So it sets our tone to start to create at a material level that is very grounded. It will be slow moving. The Knight of Pentacles kind of moves at a slow pace, but it's a slow, steady pace, and that's okay. I feel like the air signs like to move a little bit faster than the energy of Earth, but there is a sort of a dedication and a determination with the Knight of Pentacles that is beautiful. So to me, I think that that is a nice way to end this this month, because you guys have sort of done the work. So this says to me that you're solid in the work that you've done. You're aware of like the skill that you have. You're acknowledging that, and now you're starting to bring that in at a material earth plane level. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me questions at the business page or on the YouTube channel. But that is your March 2020 forecast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great March. Please like, share, follow, subscribe. You can follow me at Engelgeist333 on Instagram. And please share this video out. Let people know about me if you enjoyed this video. All right, have a good day and have a great March, you guys. Thank you. Okay. Hello, Aquarius. Sorry that you guys have to be last, but you guys are my last of the air signs, and air had to go last this time. So thank you for being the most patient of all of the signs this month. And we're going to get into what is going on for Aquarius in the month of March 2020, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and anybody with heavily placed Aquarius planets. My moon is in Aquarius, so this will be interesting. I want to see this. So I'm excited to see what's going on for my Aquarians. If you guys want to support the channel, you can feel free to do so by liking, sharing, subscribing. Follow my Instagram at Engelgeist333. You can subscribe to my Patreon page if you want to do a monthly subscription, or just tune in every day and watch the forecast and support me by leaving comments and likes is always great too. So that's always available to you. If you have any questions about your reading right now or afterwards, please leave the questions on comments on the business page or on YouTube. Those will be the places where I'll check them. If you're in a group watching this right now where it's been posted, follow the sort of the links back to the business page if you can, so that you can get your questions or comments answered or responded to by me. Okay, let's see what's going on for my wonderful Aquarius. This first card represents as what I call sort of the U card. It tells me a little bit about where you're going to be operating for the majority of the month, like going in and out of this energy. It's sort of like your vibrational set point. It kind of gives me insight into whether or not it's going to be a good month or a bad month. And it also gives me insight into sort of what the Aquarians could be creating in the future, right? So let's see. Oh my God. It's the Two of Cups. You guys are having the same month as the Libras. What's going on? Oh, you know what it is? You guys are going into Aquarius energy right after Pisces. It's going to be Aquarius season the second half of March, right? That's probably what this is. There is like a piece here. I was just explaining this in Libra. They had the exact same card in the exact same position. If these cards all come out the same, I'm going to be pissed. But there is a deepening love of self happening here. There's this beautiful sort of connection that's happening here at an emotional level. And this is our center. So to me, what I told Libra with this being in this position is it feels like we are definitely like emotionally at peace and ready to kind of go to the next level, ready to sort of deepen our relationship, not only to ourselves, but maybe to those around us, right? Emotionally, like connecting and feeling it might be that Pisces watery vibe in the beginning, and it goes into our own vibe of Aquarius. I say our own, I'm not an Aquarian, but I have an Aquarius moon, but that our own vibe of Aquarius at the month's end, you're still sort of feeling the richness of that, right? And you're enjoying that. There's definitely this beauty about the idea of connecting to yourself, though, an appreciation of self happening throughout the month of March. I want you guys to be aware of that. And that might be the latter half of March for you guys, but it could be the entirety of the month, actually, because of the position of this card. It really does represent sort of your vibe throughout the month of March. And if you know any Librans, you might want to get with your Libras, because they're going to be sort of vibing in the same place of this self-appreciation, which would then kind of, what's the word, build upon this energy. Right? When you surround yourself with like-minded people, it's easier to sort of cultivate that energy. So Libras might be very key for you guys this month in this exploration of self-appreciation. Now, let's go into the next card. This is the foundation card. This is the card from the past that tells me a bit about sort of what was going on for you guys in the past that opened the door for everything to be the way that it is. Right? It's also the memory of this card that keeps everything sort of in place. Right? Holds everything in place. So we have the World. So the World is a beautiful card. This is kind of like almost the end of I believe this is like the end of the major arcana. To me, this feels like sort of a completion, right? This feels like a big event where we kind of have also... One second. All right. To me, this is the last card of the major arcana, first off. This is the completion of a cycle. We had a completion, and the reason why I paused there is because there was a 10 down here, which was a spiritual completion for Libra. For my Aquarians, this is a much bigger sort of completion. This is not only a completion that's like spiritual, it's a completion, we have all of the 4 elements represented, right? Earth, air, fire, and water, right? Or I believe that's in the 4 corners. We have the eagle, the bull, the lion, and the man, or whatever. And so, oh my God, my cat is up on the counter moving dishes. Okay. So to me, I feel like in the recent past, we have turned a corner in such a profound way with some situation. And we've sort of, I've got to say that this is a beneficial thing. I feel like this is something where we have done the right thing by ourselves. We have asked for the right stuff. We have manifested it. Like, we are feeling it, my Aquarians. I don't know if you guys are at this place. I would love to hear from you. But if there's something that you're working on, that you've been working on, that you've achieved or are about to achieve, it's coming in, you're feeling it, you're like, oh my God, it's here. This will have already happened, right? This position of this card. So to me, this feels like we're very aware that we sort of chose the right path, or we chose the right manifestation. We made it happen, be it a relationship or a job or whatever that is. This is driving us, right? This is our foundation, right? And with the world comes the more opportunities, right? Of everything sort of arriving at us, the journey coming to an end, and us sort of receiving all the gifts of the journey. And so with this as the foundation, and the memory of this sort of as our foundation, we also run the risk, and not the risk, I don't mean a risk in a bad way, but this also says to me, or what I'm hearing is that this could mean that there could be more of this to come. More of this energy of sort of being given to my Aquarians, right? And that's the deepening of this Two of Cups that we have here. This is more intense than Libra's, way more intense is what I'm going to say. You are going to want to get with some Libras. Oh my God. Okay. I'm just realizing in Libras, some of you Aquarians might be getting together with the Librans. You guys are the king over here that was in Libra's reading. There was a King of Swords. You guys are the other air sign, I think, for some of the Libras that I read over there. I don't know. Do I sound crazy? I think that's what's going on here. This is why you have the authority, because they had the 10 in their spot. You have the world in yours. You've done it. You've done a completion, but you've done a much bigger completion, if that makes any sense at all. You have brought it in. You know how. You have that sort of prowess about you at this point, and you're deepening that connection. So you're actually, I get this, like I hear the word teacher, like you could even teach like the Librans something this month in March, because the Librans are completing cycles too, similar to yours, and you guys have that awareness, okay? And you're gonna have an appreciation for what they're going through, because you will have already done it, but in a much bigger way. All right, let's get to the Spirit or Soul card. I hope that makes sense. You might have to watch Libra to know what I was just talking about there, but it is all on the same video, so go back and watch it. So this is the Spirit or Soul card. This tells me what your Spirit or Soul is working on and what it wants. What it wants for you in the month of March. Okay, so we have a 10. So it's again a completion cycle. It's the 10 of Swords. This is a completion in your own energy, right? Swords is the element of air. This is your own energy. Now, Swords usually is, 10 of Swords kind of sometimes is like an abundance of, it usually is depicted as somebody like losing a battle, and it can be a kind of graphic card. I love this card in this deck because we have these two nursemaids that are sort of tending to this man, this wounded soldier. But I love that some of these swords have fallen away, and they are all at sort of pointed down at this situation. And when I look at these two nursemaids, they make me feel like they're spirit guides or angels kind of taking care of him. This being in your spirit space says to me that your guides and your own spirit are ready to sort of acknowledge and take care of any last minute sort of detritus or bad thoughts, negative thinking, anxieties, worries, self-doubts, whatever. We are cleaning house, Aquarius. We are moving this shit out, we're completing it, and we're letting it go. That's this foundation of this world. I really hope this is what's happening for you guys, because this is what I'm seeing, and I'm super excited for you guys. We're letting go of some of the whatever fears, whatever worries, whatever negative past happenings that are maybe dwelling in our subconscious. Our spirit is asking us to address them and let them go, complete them, heal them, and let them go. That's what these two guides are here doing. So this will be happening probably in the higher mind. This could be happening, we may not even be conscious of it. We might find that things that used to worry us maybe don't anymore. That sort of an activity, keep an eye out for those sort of things in March. As that sort of takes place, acknowledge it and bring it in even more. Deepen that emotional connection to self, that sort of love, that communion with self, that union with self and appreciation of self, and bring it in even more. Let this foundation of the world bring even more of this wonderful energy into your space. Okay? That's what I feel like I have to say to you guys. All right, now the next two cards are the outside influences. These are not of you, they're around you in the month of March. They're just things that we need to be made aware of. They can be sometimes positive or negative. They are sometimes people or events. Sometimes they can be things more vague, like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us. So let's see what we've got going on. Okay, we have Judgment. I just want to look at the other card really quick. Interesting. All right. So, to me, when I look at judgment, judgment is all about like just like sort of being judged and kind of cleaning or passing the test is what I feel like when I'm looking at this. I feel like there's opportunities here to be heralded. There's opportunities here to be appreciated. There's opportunities here. When I look at this card, the reason why I'm saying that is these people are blowing on these horns, right? And to me, the blowing of these horns is like kind of heralding the accomplishments that we've had or that we've achieved. And there's this opportunity from the outside world where we are getting acknowledged for the things that we've done. I'm going to say this again, quite possibly from the Libras around us. If we have Libras around us, I have this feeling that the Libras are going to be like tooting the horns going, wow, how did you do it? Because I need you to show me how. This is a big energy, this judgment card. I feel like this is almost celebratory. It doesn't feel negative to me at all. It feels more like hearing the horns sing, the angels sing, feeling that sort of, like it's almost like we've passed the test. We did it right. We received the gifts of the world, and this is sort of the remnants of that, right? The card that precedes the world. It's card number 20, right before 21, the final card. This is still the remnants of that celebration happening in our environment, right? So allow those influences, allow that sort of love, allow that judgment in the sense that this is not judgment in a bad way. This is judgment in the sense that you are being acknowledged and seen honestly, right, for what you've accomplished. And it's being sort of celebrated, I feel like, in the month of March. Now, and this could be also the celebrations of your birthdays for the March early Aquarians, right? So that's some of this too. I also feel like this is a party over here with this Eight of Wands. I do feel like there's a little bit of love energy happening in this Eight of Wands too. If we look at this sort of angel kind of, will you not scratch at me? I am busy. Kitten, do not. You woke me up at 4:45, do not scratch at me. So there's this angel sort of pursuing this woman, right? And so to me, this has a little bit of that love vibe that I was sort of sensing in the Libra reading. So when I look at this is the complementary element of fire. This is the Eight of Wands. Eight is always about the spirit. Eight is about balance for me. Wands is about the spirit. And so to me, there's an opportunity also to find balance within the spirit as we sort of commune with our emotions, as we release any negative thoughts, as we allow the outside world to sort of celebrate who we are and pass judgment on us in a very positive and sort of impactful way. All of this on this foundation of receiving the gifts of the world and the journey and all the work that we've put in, receiving that benefit. Do you guys see this? I hope you see this. I hope I'm making sense because I totally see how beautiful this reading is for my Aquarians. And I hope that from this sort of balance, this sort of spiritual, fiery, wonderful balance, there could be like a little kindling of a love connection for some of my Aquarians. And it makes sense, especially with this Two of Cups in the center. You guys are feeling yourselves, and you're allowing others to sort of feel you too. Oh, you dirty feelers, you. All right, so this last card is what I call the potential outcomes card. This card tells me a little bit about sort of where things are going to turn out for most of you, barring that nothing major changes. With, you know, life, we have free will, and so I want you to understand that nothing is set in stone, but this is the card that sort of is the, you know, future card for the end of the month of March. This is where you might end up. If this is a negative card, you have free will and free choice to sort of make choices and changes. Now, use the card as a warning, and you can affect the outcome so this doesn't come to pass. But if this card is a positive, we can take heart in the fact that we're automatically heading towards this outcome, right? So just take it as you will. Interesting. So you guys end out on the Hermit, which is a major arcana card, which to me signifies this is a good ending for the month of March. But the Hermit to me is about going inward. The Hermit is about connecting at a deeper level with yourself. This is a very spiritual card. This is about, when we look at the flame and the moon, to me it's about going into the cave, spending some time alone, getting in contact with your intuition, and kind of really, this is that deepening of the connection in the two emotionally, the releasing of the mind stuff. By the month's end, we're going even deeper, guys. You guys are bringing in, it's this world card at the bottom here. I get this sense, this feeling that the gifts of this world card are still coming to you because you are embracing them. You are appreciating them. You are willing to complete and release the work in the mental space at a soul level, so let it go. Allow, like, sort of, allow the grace to happen, is sort of what I'm hearing. And as you do that, you're going to find by month's end that you're going to go even deeper into sort of your subconscious, into who you are, into your intuition, into finding your own light. That's this sort of, this fire that's here, is the light that's within you. It's really beautiful. Like, oh my God. And as that happens, like there's this soft rain that's falling on the music. As I'm talking about the light that's within you, this rain started falling on the music. I really feel like there is an opportunity here for you guys to have the most beautiful March. And it's going to carry on if you continue to commune with yourself and trust that sort of relationship. Build upon it. Explore that intuitive self. Explore that light. And, you know, how do I want it? Like, go deeper into the cave, so to speak, deeper into the subconscious. There's wonderful things in there to be found and to commune with. All right, so that is your March, and that would make sense because you guys will be right in mid-Aquarian season. So you might find that, you know, the energy might be a little bonkers by the end of March, and you need a little rest too. That also signifies some of the hermit is just sort of taking time for oneself. So don't forget to do that. All right, you guys. Whoops. Cat, I'm going to kill you. Like, literally kill you. Go away. All right, it's time for me to sign off. You guys have a wonderful March. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If it made sense, please leave me a comment and let me know, especially about this world and completion stuff going on. Is this true? Has something major come your way that's been like extremely powerful? Have you done something extremely right and reaped the benefits of that? I really feel like that's the driving force here, and because of that, it's setting you up for some really beautiful opportunities. All right, thank you very much for watching. Go watch Libra, go fall in love with a Libra, or at least appreciate and educate a Libra and help them along their path, because you certainly know how to do it. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being patient with me. I look forward to seeing you guys all next month. The yearlies are also up for those of you that are new. The yearly predictives are up on the page on YouTube. You can go check those out and see if those make any sense, because we're 2 months in. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next month. All right, thank you so much. Have a good day.